that letter was one of the mailing campaigns got 50%, and it was averaging about 25 to 30%. Just best letter that I think is out there to send to motivated sellers. And I will talk about that maybe later. Talking to sellers, just simply answering your phone, going through a lead sheet and getting necessary information. And what I mean is, you need to get their address, you need to get the bedrooms, bathrooms, you need to get the repairs needed. They'll usually not tell you all that's needed, but just a good estimate. Get if it's rented, if it's not, if it's vacant. What else? Loan balance. Motivation is a good one. I always want to ask and see, what is their motivation. If they're facing foreclosure, I know they're motivated. That means that they'll be a little more negotiable on price. Also, asking price. I always ask, what are you asking for the property? 95% of the time they'll, their first price they'll say somewhere around market value. But I always say after they say that, if I can offer you all cash, pay all your closing costs, what's the least you will take for the property? And it's amazing how that little sentence, I've had people asking, well, I want $150,000 for it. If you could pay cash and close quickly, I'll take $100,000 for it. It's amazing how just by asking, you can, get to their true motivation and what they truly will want. So that's step 2. And right now, too, one thing that we've been doing in our business, because I didn't want to be answering the phone every single day, constantly, because these people, they call it 8 or 9 at night, they call on weekends, you never know when they're going to call. So what we've done is I have a calling service that all of my direct mail campaigns are going to now, where they read down my lead sheet, they take the lead for me, and they simply just email that lead to me, and then I can choose, okay, is this seller motivated enough for me to give him a call back and to talk to him? And that's pretty much what we're doing now. And that seems to be working pretty well. My phone doesn't ring as often and frees up a lot of my time.
Is that service here in town?
No, it's called 1-800-WE-ANSWER.com or something like that. And they're just a national company that it's pretty much a virtual secretary. They have my script. The phone call comes in. They just go over that.
So do they ask all of those questions that you have listed there?
Yeah, they have. I don't have a lead sheet. I think there's one in the course, but I just gave them a lead sheet. Ask all these questions. I gave them a thing of, some of the common questions that sellers will ask. Like sometimes, how did you get my information? Just gave them, these are some of the common questions, and they go with it. It's working pretty well for us so far. So then,
where are they based out of? Do you know?
New York.
Oh, so it is.
Yeah, it's all. US.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was India. I just didn't know how to ask that tactfully.
It's all U.S. They have different call centers, and I have a list of them. Different, but it's all U.S. So they speak English.
It's only about $60 a month, too. Isn't it?
Yeah, it's $60 a month. With that, you get 60 minutes free. Then you pay 89 cents a minute after. The other call centers that I had looked at were $70 setup fee, $100 a month, and $1 a minute, And with this company, you can buy bigger packages of minutes. But if you're not doing a ton of deals and don't have a ton of calls coming in, then 60 minutes is more than enough. Okay, step 3 is you need to evaluate the lead. So once you have that lead sheet filled out, you've talked to the seller, you found out what they're asking, you need to go and determine, okay, is this a good deal or not? So what I do is, first and foremost, determine if the seller is motivated. Okay, does this seller need to sell? Do they want to sell? Because if they're, I just wanted to shop around and see what you would ask. Maybe they're not too motivated and it's not going to be a deal. It's going to be a waste of your time to go look at the property. So just, either, call them back and say, sorry, I can't help you. A lot of times I'll do that or I used to, when I would talk to sellers, is, I could tell their motivation on the phone and just say, I think that your best bet is going through the traditional route, going through a realtor, listing it that way. That's a much better option for you, which is, for the majority of sellers, that is the best option. But for the sellers that are motivated, that need to sell, that have a house that, has more repairs than they have the money to put into it, selling to investors like us is the best way. So after you've determined if the seller is motivated, we run comps, comparable sales. What I do is I go in the MLS, I do a search of all of the closed sales that are similar to that house in bedrooms and bathrooms and similar in square feet within about a half-mile radius of that. Usually, it depends on the neighborhood. You kind of, I guess you kind of figure out the neighborhoods and buildings, okay, I'll just stick with this neighborhood, because they can change neighborhood to neighborhood. But what I do is just find out, what are those houses in that area fixed up, selling to, the houses that are in good shape. So once you find that out, I put the deal through a little formula. My number, my after repair value, I times it by 70%, subtract the repairs, and if I'm wholesaling it, we'll subtract a wholesale fee. That'll equal my offer. Now sometimes, depending on the situation, or what it is, I might subtract off closing costs or realtor commission. It just depends. But this is kind of just a little standard formula. I know you've probably all seen this, and most real estate, I guess anybody teaches this little simple formula.
What is your wholesale fee?
It depends on the deal. What I think that I can get out of it. Could be $5,000, could be $10,000. If I could do $100,000 on every deal, I would try that. But I need a lot higher priced houses.
What's ARV again? Did you say?
After repair value.
Okay.
Market value. What the house would sell for if it was fixed up in 100% good shape.
What about your marketing fee? You had one that you did. We looked at that you made an agreement with him where you were simply marketing for him.
Yeah, there was one where I couldn't really negotiate a price with the guy. We didn't want to buy it. One reason was because the guy lived across the street. But what I did was I had an agreement with the guy that I would market the property to him for him for $1,000 fee. And when the house closed, he paid for it. Wasn't a real estate commission. Wasn't that. It was just a marketing fee. And anybody can charge that if you can show a seller how you helping with the marketing is going to help get his house sold. Now, step 4 is going to be make an offer. This is what I feel, next to marketing, is the biggest key to the number one key to success. Because if you're not making offers, you're not putting property under contract, and you're not getting deals. The more offers you make, the more no's you're going to get, and it's going to get you closer to that, one yes. Now, sometimes there are a couple different ways that we make offers. In some situations, we send what is a letter of intent. Just, it's not a binding contract or anything. Just a simple letter to these people saying, this is what we can offer. We've done this in the situation where a house was owned by a non-profit organization where, they're like, okay, well, can you present an offer to the board? So what I did was just wrote up a little letter of intent, kind of stating, based on the current repairs, the current market value of the property and whatnot, this is what we would offer, sign, me, and just sent it to them. And they went over that offer and decided what they wanted to, and after that we sent them a contract. Now, most of you may or may not know that, the next way to make offers is just to send a formal buy-sell agreement. Now, we always use the standard Montana state-approved contract. And that is pretty much how we make all of our offers. When you send somebody a contract, they know that you're a little more serious, that, it's in writing. And that's pretty much it. Is there any questions at all about making offers?
I have something to add.
Go ahead.
How many of you guys have looked at a property and then later you see it on a comp or you find out that it's sold and you find out what it's sold for and you go, I'd have paid more than that. Anybody had that happen? Okay. If you haven't, you're not looking enough. Okay. So you need to be out looking more and you're going to run into those. But that's the thing of making offers. If you're not making that offer, you don't know where the sweet spot is or where the deal gets flushed out. I can't tell you how many times I've looked at a property, I passed on it, I didn't move fast enough, and then I hear that it's sold for way less than what I was thinking it was worth.
Yeah, and that brings up a good point. Everyone should be or should try to make an offer on every house that you actually go and look at. You know, why not? The worst thing that's going to happen is that you're going to have a realtor yell at you. You're going to have, you know, believe me, I've had a few of those phone calls. Because we were for a while there making 30 or 40 offers a week or a month.
Wow.
And yeah, you definitely will get on the blacklist of every realtor out there. But I mean, those 30 or 40 offers have
We're producing what kind
we're
of responses for
producing deals. You know, we make
One deal every 30 offers.
Yeah, we were getting one deal every 30 offers, so why not make those? And I guess I automated the process of making offers a lot. I have a software that I use that pretty much autofills all my contracts, does, you know, everything. I just have to fill in a couple blanks. I hit send, and it sends right off to the listing agent. And, you know, it's simple as that. It takes me 5 minutes to submit an offer. I need to be probably submitting more offers, but it's kind of hard where, I guess I don't want to say difficult, where Billings is, you know, over the past year or whatnot, the inventory's gone down a lot and maybe a little more competitive or not as many deals, but that's why, you know, there are hundreds of not listed properties that are good deals that I know just driving around, there are hundreds of vacant houses out there right now that, you know, ready for somebody to rehab.
Yeah, I have a question. If you make that many offers, I mean, you always give earnest money for making that many offers?
Yeah,
You
well,
do.
no, we don't give earnest money on the offers.
Oh, you don't?
We only give earnest money when the offer is accepted. So, you know, it'll just say that we're going to give a $500 or $100 earnest money deposit. We don't give it, we don't present it with the offer.
Okay.
Yeah, if the offer comes back accepted, we'll rush them a check to the title company or to.
But you'll go as low as $100 for it.
Yeah, we'll go $10 if we can. Jonathan?
Something that not everyone probably knows, but earnest money is not a requirement for a contract either. So generally, you know, obviously, it makes it look better, makes the offer look better, but you don't have to.
I did read that actually a couple days ago that it's not required. It is required on an option contract,
Right.
but not on a regular buy-sell. It's just, I guess, standard practice.
Yeah.
And there are some realtors who won't accept an offer unless there's some
That's really not the
earnest money.
realtors. That's not up to the realtor, though.
to show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be
They'll give you
the
enough.
sellers.
But we always like to give $100, or a lot of times. I know one time a long time ago, my father put up a $5,000 earnest money deposit, just because, you know, that it does show the sellers that you're more serious. And, you know,
You did me.
yeah.
The
Okay,
first house
so
I sold in
you
Vegas was that way.
Like, I know of 3 houses right now that I would make an offer on, but I don't want to put up any more cash.
What do you mean no more cash? You don't actually want to buy the houses?
Right. Well, I do, but I don't have any more money.
Okay.
I don't have any more money.
Okay.
So,
What I do, I'll get to that. I think that's one of the next steps, is sometimes just wholesale these houses. You know, you will have to put up maybe a little earnest money deposit. You know, you're not required to. You don't have to.
no,
but-
earnest money I don't have any problem with. It's just,
It's the 20% down the bank wants you to put.
Okay, so either.
I have bought 3 the houses now without 20%, with fast talking and tap dance, but I think I've gone as far as I can go down that road. And I need some strategy. I don't want to leverage any more than I already am. I mean, I just
Yeah.
want some more.
What do you want to do with these houses? Would you
I'd
just
love to have one of them needs a new kitchen, and it would be a sweetheart of a rental. It's in a really nice neighborhood. About a 1930s
you can
house.
either find some sort of private lender. There are lots of people out there. There might even be some in here that have cash available. They wouldn't mind a nice return
that's
on
what
their
I
money.
need to know is how to find them.
Actually,
Networking, talking to the people, bribing me.
Right? Okay.
There are so many people out there. You think of like your doctor or your dentist. Maybe these people have savings account stockpiled up, or have their maybe they have a Roth IRA or something like that they can use. You just have to ask these people and kind of just go into general conversation and just networking.
It's like making offers.
I found a prospective investor for our hotel in the Houston airport who happened to be a brothel and strip club owner in Florida. And you wouldn't have known this guy, other than the gold rings and the fancy chain, you wouldn't have thought he was anything more than, there happened to be a guy that just had knee surgery that I helped get from his wheelchair to his chair while we were waiting in the airport. And we actually went as far as to try to get money with that, and Jason pulled the morality card and decided not to use his money because of where it was coming from, which is fine. But that's just a short story that, you never know where the billionaire or millionaire is sitting right next to you. So think of the people that have money, that are in good professions and such, that have expendable income, that have IRA money. In fact, our 10% investor in the hotel in Atlanta is from an elderly couple that has their IRA funding that 10% portion of our hotel, and they get a interest on that money, plus they get a 10% ownership distribution check every month. We got the $100,000 we needed out of them just to put our refrigerators, microwaves, and new signage in the hotel.
At the same time, if she's trying to round up some money, if she's got 3 houses, and she could wholesale the first one and round up enough cash to then do the remodel on the next one and keep them if you want to fix
Yeah.
the key.
I like the way you think. I wish.
Networking here.
Yeah.
Ideas.
Yeah, a great way, wholesale one of the houses. If you can, use that money to fund the remodel on another one, use a private lender to purchase the property. Lots of different ways. Any other things on making offers? Well,
I had a question when you guys were saying you were putting out about 30 offers a month and getting about 1 sale. How many of those people were countering back? You were probably getting 20 or 25 that were like, go beat it, but how many people were you getting in counter situations? Coming
well,
that close on?
it was probably more like 3, maybe 2. I don't know, somewhere around 3 that would counter back.
Yeah.
And a lot of them would just even counter back a couple thousand less, it seemed. But a lot of those were the banks would counter back too. We were making offers on bank-owned property, on pretty much anything that we thought could possibly be a deal for us. But yeah, most of them would be like, we get an email back, hell no. That's it.
you went that low, huh?
Yeah, all our offers are usually around 50% of the ARV. Sometimes they're around, yeah. I that's where you have people that don't like you after that offer. And we were offering a lot of times too at 50 or 60% of the list price. That might not even be the actual ARV, but that's where we found that we have to buy deals in order for us to make profit or for us to wholesale them. And I know that some people are probably skeptical, and I've heard a lot of people, there's no way that these people would sell for that, but you find a motivated seller, they're definitely willing to.
Do you send offers to the national banks on their properties?
The listing agent.
No, like Recon Trust has a list of properties. Do you send them directly to them at all?
Recon Trust is at Bank of America.
Yeah.
Usually not. We usually just.
You can go online and actually find out who the case manager is for the property.
Yeah, I've tried to go that route, but usually they just tell me we're going to list it with a realtor here soon, or we're going to auction it, or something, and
Well, it's already been an auction, now they're taking possession.
yeah, and then they'll list it with a realtor here, eventually. The only way that I've heard successfully of people doing that a lot is buying bulk from them. It's a lot more difficult. Go
I
ahead.
had one follow-up question on, you said that you just get free counters. Do you do any special TLC on those people that counter? I mean,
What do you mean TLC?
since
Usually I just
you're only getting 3 out of 30 counter, you go and meet them, hold their hands, call them?
I countered back my original price. Yeah, usually when I put it through that formula and I get a set price, that's the most I want to pay. I'm not going to be a lot flexible, so if I get counters back, I just counter back my original price. If they don't accept it, well, I'll make 30 more offers next week and I'll find one. Now, success step 5 is wholesale the property. You find a rehabber. So now at this point, you have that signed contract. You have a property that you have a contract to buy for 50% of the ARV. Usually in all of our contracts, we usually get a 15-day inspection period. Within that 15 days, we have the right to cancel the property. And we use that 15 days, if we're wholesaling, to find a buyer, to find an investor buyer. One of the best ways to find a buyer is simply to send out an email to a couple hundred people, and hopefully your phone's ringing. It takes time to acquire those emails through networking, through out there meeting people. But there are several ways to find a rehabber. Bring it to, if you do get a deal under contract, bring it to Gabriel, the director of the REIA, and he'll
Blast it out to the group.
blast it out. Maybe he'll buy it. Bring it to me or my father. Maybe we'll buy it. We're always buying rehab projects. We currently have 4 of them going on right now. But just bring it to an experienced investor, and you can find a rehabber. I know I've had great success even just posting on Craigslist. Get tons of calls.
Working the 2 of the landlords. Landlords are good sources of
Landlords are a great source too. You can also you can get lists of people that have recently purchased property for cash. These are cash buyers. And that's really what you want too, is somebody that's going to go in, pay all cash, make your life easy, take the property in just a couple of weeks and move on. You can get a list of cash buyers from the MLS. You can see all the houses that have sold with cash under the financing part. And that's really the best part. I think you can get cash sales from a website like Freedom Soft. I'll talk about that a little later. And yeah, you just want to market the hell out of the deal. Put up bandit signs around the area that cheap house for sale, fixer upper for sale, and your phone will ring from that. And hopefully on the other end's a cash buyer, or just add them to your buyers list. There are several ways to find rehabber buyers.
If you've got the right wholesale deal or the right price on that, and you've got room to be able to give it to a prospective flipper or investor, and there's room for them to still have some meat on the bone, it's going to sell. It's going to sell quick. It's a numbers game, and if the numbers are right for the person on the end, and you're still leaving some money on the table for them to make something, there's going to be a group of people that are looking for that.
Oh yeah, and
And there's a group of people here in our own group that if you email that to me and say, hey, blast this out to the group, I guarantee there's going to be a couple that are going to come and look.
yeah, and
Myself and Jason Bellagio will probably be at the same meeting. He was walking out when I was walking in.
Yeah, but bring it to us. You know, we partner on wholesale deals too, or we'll help you market it to our list of buyers, and you know, we'll just work out some sort of fee there. Now the next step is to, you know, take your contract, and once you have marketed it and found a cash buyer, you're going to either assign that contract. You get what is a one-page contract that is an assignment of contract. Just states that you're assigning your right to purchase the property to another individual for a fee. I do have, I think in the course I'm going to give out here in a little bit, an assignment of contract. Just a simple one-page paper, and all it does is just, you know, you're no longer liable on that contract when you have that. And then you just wait, collect your check, and then repeat the process. It's really, really a simple process. And here is a bonus step too, is always follow up. Sometimes these sellers that you talk to, they might not be motivated at, you know, the time you talk to them. But just make a note and give them a call back in, you know, 30 days. And the same thing with making offers too. You know, maybe you made 30 offers on what you thought might be decent houses. You know, maybe some of those counters that you had back, wait 30 days or so and make another offer. You know, I know there's been several people that we've talked to that, you know, we talked to them here, and then 6 months later, they call us or we call them, and they're ready to sell, or they, you know, at that time they're 2 weeks from foreclosure and need to sell fast. That's how.
Or they've already been living in another state for
Yeah.
a month and a half.
That's how I personally bought my house. Was we had seen it a year ago, or not a year ago, a year from when we purchased it. We talked to the people that inherited the property and saw that they were late on payments. That it was going to eventually go into foreclosure, but there was no foreclosure filed. They were still trying to work out all the probate details and trying to figure that out. So finally, it was about 8-9 months later, we contacted them, or yeah, it was somewhere in there where we had saw that a trustee sale had been filed. So we contacted them again. They're finally getting a little more motivated. They still haven't been able to talk to the bank. And then we finally got a signed buy sell. It was about 2 or 3 weeks before the foreclosure was going to foreclosure auction, and we're able to close on it in 2 weeks, and you know, got a nice house that after repair value was around $160,000. Picked it up for $95,000. So it was a great deal, and that was one that we just, you know, kept in contact with them after a long time.